Welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast, the place where we talk about getting businesses seen, remembered and chosen. I'm Joanne Pearce, a visibility specialist and friendly northerner, wife, mum and someone who's built 2 businesses from the ground up on nothing more than a wing and a prayer and sheer determination. I help independent businesses from around the world get found using honest, down-to-earth marketing grounded in real-life business experience. I believe that every business owner has a story to tell, and that story deserves to be at the very heart of their marketing. This podcast is for businesses of all kinds, whether you sell products or services, work locally or globally, are big or small, and you want to be found without relying solely on social media. Expect real stories, honest conversations, a good dose of northern humour, and simple visibility advice that will actually move the needle for your business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. I am on the road again, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to record a quick episode because it's very rare that I'm alone in the car, but I've got an appointment to go to, so I've just dropped off my daughter at my friend's house. So what are we talking about today? Well, first of all, I'll try and behave myself on the road today because last episode I think there was a little bit of road rage going on. So I'll refrain from that this time. Well, yes, today's episode was inspired by some recent events last week, actually, at our house. And I just thought it was an episode that a lot of people would relate to, especially business owners. And it's all about the feeling of being rushed. Do you ever feel like there are just not enough hours in the day and you're just constantly scrambling around trying to get everything done? Whether that's before you pick the kids up from school, or maybe you've got another job alongside your business, and so you're doing stuff, at night, in the mornings, whatever. But we're just constantly rushing, aren't we? And it can't be good for our nervous system for a start, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I just sit there thinking, I'm never going to get it all done. It's never going to happen. It's impossible. And you know what? I'm right. It's never going to get done. Your to-do list is never finished. So why are we always trying to scramble to finish it when we know that it's not going to happen? It gives us this feeling of accomplishment, doesn't it, when we have ticked everything off our list. But in order to get to that point, the pressure that we put ourselves under can't be good for us. And I thought it would be really helpful to talk about this feeling of being rushed. I'm not actually sure that there's a business lesson in this episode, by the way. So if that's what you're looking for, then maybe turn off. It's a bit more of a moan in general about life and what we're all trying to manage. It doesn't always have to be a business lesson, right? It's the summer holidays and I've managed to squeeze an episode in, so I'm going with it. So last week in our house, it was, like for a lot of people, the run up to the summer holidays, trying to get everything finished. I was working mornings, nights, all hours that I possibly could to get everything crammed in. I felt like it does when you're pregnant and you're about a week off being due. And it's like that mad scramble to get everything done, isn't it? It's like that nesting instinct when you feel like you've got to get everything cleaned and prepared before the baby comes. And I always feel like this when it's the summer holidays. I always feel like I've got to do a bit of nesting, preparing for the 6 weeks where I'm not going to be able to do bugger all. So I go into some mad panic. And I actually had a panic attack, right, in the cafe on the Thursday before I picked my little girl up. And I was sat there trying to do some work. And I was trying to email this person. And as I was doing it, the words weren't making sense. I started getting really hot. I was feeling panicky about the thought that I had an hour to go. And then that was it for 6 weeks. I won't be able to have a full day's work. Because I kept thinking to myself, this is going to be my last coffee alone, and sitting in 6 weeks. How depressing. But no, so anyway, it wasn't great. I started panicking. So I started thinking about all the stuff I've got to get done basically before the summer holidays. And it's never going to happen, let's be realistic. It's a case of managing it alongside everything else that we've got to do during those times that the kids are off. So prior to the panic attack in the coffee shop, I had the worst day in a long time. Talk about feeling rushed, right? I'll tell you exactly what happened this day that I think contributed to the panic attack, right? So we're in the middle of having some DIY done at the moment, and it's not massive, it's just some improvements to the lounge. And basically, the night before, yet again, our toilet blocked as a result of my daughter shoving too much toilet roll down there, and then Dave going to the toilet straight after it. Anyway, whole drama. The words poo soup come to mind. It was disgusting. Anyway, Dave spent the whole night trying to unblock the toilet. Yeah, to no avail. He had all kinds down there. At one point, I saw him with one of my old knitting needles, trying to jam that down the toilet. Oh my God. Anyway, so we went to bed. Everyone was only allowed to have a wee. If you needed anything else, you had to hold it in. The next day, we woke up, hopeful that the toilet maybe had drained. Of course, it hadn't. And I had like the busiest day on the agenda for this day. Dave buggered off to work, so he was fine. He could have his poo in the office. But however, he left me getting Eden to school, telling her to hold it in until she got to the classroom. And then I had to go to Tesco on the way back to use their facilities while I figured out a plan to unblock the toilet, right? So I get home after that, about 9 o'clock. My colleague was on her way round because we were working from my house that day. And we were also expecting a guy to come and fit the vinyl flooring. So there was a lot going on. Oh, and I also had a hospital appointment, which was done by telephone call. So that was okay. I could manage that. So prior to my colleague turning up that day, who was obviously we were working together all day at our house, I was thinking, oh my God, what if she needs a toilet? But then we had to work from my house because the carpet guy was coming. So I had to be in for it. So I sent this panicky message to my friend Emily and I said, look, the toilet is blocked. I don't know what to do. I don't know if we should work from here or not. So she's like, right, I am the chief toilet unblocker in our house. Okay. She said, leave it with me. I was like, really? So I said, I can't have you unblocking our toilet. It's disgusting. She was like, no, should I've seen worse. She said, I'm going to go to Screwfix right now and I'm going to buy you this plunger that is the only one that ever works when toilets get blocked in our house. And I was like, look, Dave's tried this. He's been doing it all night. I think we're going to need a plumber. She was like, just leave it with me. So she goes to Screwfix, and then on the way back, she comes, knocks on the door, comes in with this bloody plunger. It's so funny. But right hot on the heels was the floor man who told me he was coming at 11:30. This was 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm instantly feeling panicky because I wanted to get the toilet unblocked before he came round, because what if he needed the toilet? And I'd have to say, oh, I'm really sorry, my daughter and my husband had a massive shit in it and I blocked it. Like, you can't really say that, can you? So he's right behind Emily on the doorstep. And I was like, oh, morning. He was like, oh, morning. God. Plus, I hadn't hoovered the floor where he was going to lay it on. So I was like, right, both of you come in. And I thought, you know what? The best thing that I can do right now in this situation is be honest. So luckily, he's a nice guy. He came in and I was like, right, first of all, Steve, do you need the toilet? And he just looked at me and he was like, no, why? And I was like, well, because I'm just letting you know now, our toilet is blocked. So if you do need it, you're going to have to go to Tesco. He was like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. That's that problem solved. And then Emily stood bloody in front of him with this plunger. And she's like, right, I'm going to go and unblock the toilet now. So I'll see you in a minute. I thought, oh, Jesus, good luck with that. So I'm hoovering the lounge. He's gone to get the vinyl. She's upstairs unblocking the toilet. 2 minutes later, I'm not kidding you, she comes down with a pair of marigolds on. And she goes, all done. I was like, what? She's like, it's all done. I said, how is it all done? I said, Dave spent like 6 hours on it last night and then some this morning and he couldn't do it. She was like, I told you, that plunger from Screwfix is all you need if you've got a blocked toilet. I literally hugged her, right? I was like, you are a genius. She went, I'm going to keep checking it. I'll keep flushing it, make sure it's all right. So thank you. So got a bit of a sweat up by now because, I've been hoovering. Steve's bringing the vinyl in, this massive big roll, heavy roll that he's shoving through the lounge window to get in. So then I said to him, right, do you want a brew? He was like, yeah, that'll be lovely. Right, so I put the kettle on. Emily's with me in the kitchen. Bearing in mind, the whole contents of my lounge are in the kitchen at this point. Yeah, the whole house is upside down. So I'm there trying to get in between sofas and tables to make a brew for Steve, who has tea and one sugar, by the way. So as the kettle's boiling and Steve's unrolling the vinyl, and me and Emily are just sat there, like, grateful that we can go to the toilet if we need to, I hear this, oh, no. And I was just like, what? And he was like, I'm so sorry. Then I went in the lounge, and as he'd unrolled the flooring, there was this like massive big fault line down the middle of it. So, which had basically come off the machine, and it was faulty. So basically, he couldn't lay it. He was like, I can't put this down for you. We have to reorder another one. I was like, oh my God, all of my lounge is in the kitchen right now. We just moved it all out last night alongside the block toilet episode. Like, I was so stressed. Right, so he gets on the phone to the company. In the meantime, my phone rings and it's the bloody menopause clinic for my hospital appointment. Honestly, you couldn't write it. By this point, heart's palpitating. I am sweating. Emily's trying to make brews for everyone. He's there on the phone trying to sort out the floor. So the nurse on the phone, obviously asking me a load of personal questions. Uh, how are the night sweats? Um, you know, things that you don't really want to answer in front of your carpet man. And you could hear, you could actually hear it. Emily could hear it in the kitchen. She started laughing when the nurse asked me how my libido was. I was just hoping Steve didn't hear that. So I managed to get that sorted. I'm popping my head around the door, telling Steve to. So I've just seen my daughter's nursery teacher. Hello. Ah. Hiya, you're right, yeah. You. Oh God. Sorry, they look funny, don't they, when you don't recognise them, you can't place them. I've got my window down, so she waved at me. Uh, so yeah, this feeling of being rushed by this point, I'm not kidding you. Bearing in mind, I hadn't even started work yet. Like, we were so rushed. So as I'm on the phone to the menopause clinic, Steve's popping his head around the door, sort of wanting to know what's going on with the floor, what day he could come back. Sort of there, just going like, just 1 minute, won't be a minute. You know, we have libido's fine, thanks. Yeah, all good. Not. It's just awful. Anyway, we managed to get it sorted. I got a new date for the floor. Toilet got unblocked. We got rid of Steve. Me and Emily cracked on with the work, and we got everything done we needed to. But my God, was I stressed that day, right? It's no wonder that I had the panic attack in the cafe. And it's just this whole feeling of being rushed, isn't it? That it's really difficult when you are trying to run a business and live life at the same time. And that's without the school holidays. So how can we manage it? What are we going to do so that we don't have these episodes and you don't end up having a panic attack when you're having your green matcha and trying to do your emails? What can we do about it? Well, I have this problem every year. And do you know what I have to do in the end? I have to succumb to it. And I have to think to myself that anything that I do get done is a bonus, right? So I don't overpromise people anything during the summer holidays. I'll say to them, do you know what? I'm not working at my full capacity. I might be replying in the evening. I might be replying at 6 in the morning. My working day looks different now for the next few weeks. And most people understand they're fine about it. But it's just not overpromising, I think, because I think that's part of the reason why I started feeling panicky, because I was saying yes to a lot of things that I wasn't actually sure how I was going to get done. Quick swig of my coffee. Ow, they stay so hot in these travel cups, don't they? Ah, burnt my lip. Yeah, so it's thinking about your workload. If you are juggling it as well, it's thinking about what can you cut down on, or even dividing your jobs up into what can you do in the day when your kids are around, which is not much, let's be honest. But like easier things. It might be if you make stuff, it might be that you do some cutting, or you can sit on the sofa while there's a film on with them or something, even though they don't sit still, do this and watch a film. I don't think Eden has ever watched a film through, and she's nearly 7. She's always upside down or playing nail ladies at the same time, climbing on me, doing handstands, raiding the snack cupboard. They never just sit still, do they? You don't hear a peep from them for 2 hours. Oh, we wish. No, so have a think about what you can do that is easier and manageable while the kids are around, even if you can stick the telly on for half an hour, and then divide your tasks up into those things. And then think about what you can do when they aren't around and they're either get friends, or maybe you're lucky enough and they'll go to a holiday club, or they're in bed. Okay, so I always think about, right, I'll do my emails and the things I've got to concentrate on very early in the morning when I get up before she wakes up, and later at night when she's in bed. Now, I always say this, but by night time, I am absolutely knackered. So I say I do my emails at that time. I'd rather get up early and do them. If you've got no energy left in an evening, like a lot of us haven't, we're running on empty, aren't we, by 9 o'clock most days? So I would say emails done in the morning or admin done in the morning. Maybe you've got orders to process, you've got people to reply to. Get that done while you're relatively switched on. And then if you can, just dip in and do a little bit of more practical stuff during the day for an hour or two. But if you think you're going to get more than an hour when the kids are off, or if you do get more than an hour when the kids are off, you're bloody lucky. So maybe say, right, today that's what I'm doing. I'm working for an hour on this. And telling them, if they're old enough, communicating with them and saying, look, mummy has to do this. This is what I say. She very rarely understands, I'll be honest with you, normally gets screamed at. But I have to say, look, if we want to go and do things, I do have to work for an hour. And you know what? The guilt is real, isn't it? Like, you do feel guilty whether you're working and whether you're not. Um, and I was watching The Bear at the minute. I love The Bear, and it's the last season on Disney at the moment. And there was a scene in it that one of the ladies said, Tina, who works in the kitchen, and she's talking to this new mum who was feeling guilty about being at work. And, she said to her, your baby doesn't care if you're ambitious. Like, your baby just wants to see your face. And like, when I heard that, I didn't feel bloody worse. Like, I was thinking it's true. Of course it's true. They don't care if, you are the most successful person on the planet. They don't care if you've got £1 million in your bank or you've got £1 in your bank. They just want to see your face. And that's not going to change. And we need to think about that, I think. And I just sat there sobbing, feeling really guilty that, I'm trying to do my work alongside playing. But I think it's just parking what you can during the summer and dipping into what needs to be done, really. And it will go fast. That's what I keep telling myself. It will go fast. But this feeling of being rushed, it's not good for us. It can't be healthy. We need to keep a check on it. We need to make sure that we're not having panic attacks in the middle of a coffee shop. Who's that benefiting? Nobody. And something that my mum always used to say to me, she'd be like, Joanne, your to-do list will never be empty when you work for yourself. She went, if it was, she said, then you wouldn't be busy. You wouldn't have a business. And I've said this a couple of times on my podcast because it's so true. Like, we really worry, don't we, about getting everything done. But if we had got everything done, then we wouldn't have any orders or anything to work towards. So I think it's really important that we remember that. In order to be successful and busy in our businesses, we're going to have a to-do list. That's just a fact, all right? It's just trying to really get control of this horrible rushed feeling where you're darting from one place to the next and doing one job and another job, trying to get it all finished. Right, we've got to stop it, okay? So on that note, I am nearly at my appointment. So I am going to sign off for now. I hope you're all surviving the summer holidays. If you haven't got kids or the kids have flown the nest, I hope you are enjoying your time. If I can jump on again during the summer holidays for another episode, I most certainly will. I've got loads of things stored up to talk about. I'm really looking forward to September for obvious reasons. I'm at one again. No, I'm looking forward to it because I am going to be starting working on people's websites. I've already done a couple prior to the schools breaking up. So keep an eye on my socials for some images of those because they are looking so good. I've been helping brands all over the shop with basically just getting themselves looking better online, looking amazing, not better, looking amazing online. Why am I dumbing myself down? They look absolutely brilliant. So I'll be posting some pictures of what I've been up to. So if you are looking for a bit of a refresh on your branding, your business website, or maybe you just need some help getting your online presence up there, let me know. I am here. Thank you so much for listening. Godspeed for the summer holidays, and I'll be back again soon with another episode. Bye for now. If today's episode has made you realise that visibility might be about more than just posting and hoping for the best, you are not alone. This is exactly the kind of thing I help independent businesses with, getting clearer on their story, their services, and how they actually show up online, especially on Google. If you want support that's honest, simple, and rooted in real-life business experience, I'm here. Visit my website, herhandmadehustle.co.uk to see how we could work together. And if this episode helped you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And don't forget to share it with someone else today who you think would enjoy it too. Thank you and see you next time.